What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the JuiceBox presented by Lock City. It's Wighty here today. Hope everyone's having a good start to the weekend here. Happy Saturday morning, and that you've been cashing out with us, of course, over the last couple of weeks, especially the last 3 days on our JuiceBox Lock. Max Play of the Day's been hot, so on and so forth. Today we have episode number 90 already of the JuiceBox, which is going to be an outlook into, of course, today's MLB slate, as well as always a quick review of yesterday's slate and, of course, our JuiceBox Lock for today. But before we get into that, just a reminder, of course, you can join our premium tier Discord at whop.com/LockCity. That's WHOP.com/LockCity for only $5 a month. This gets you access to every cheat sheet every day across all active major sports, access to premium picks from all 9 of our pro cappers, and tons of sport-specific and stat-specific data points on a daily basis to help you become a better sports bettor. Our max play of the day is now 20 and 11 and up $2,347 or 23.47 units. Our JuiceBox Lock, like I said, also cashed yesterday. Claw had an excellent read on Chris Bassitt's strikeouts. We had him for over 5.5. Claw shouted it out at 9 in the morning yesterday on the pod here for minus 102 on FanDuel. It actually ended up getting nuked to around minus 150, but nonetheless, nice little cash there. We are up 15.99 units or $1,599 on the JuiceBox Locks since we started the podcast here, and we've improved to 32, 27, and 1 overall. And like I said, we've also cashed our last 3 JuiceBox Locks. I'll wrap this up just saying we do daily picks from our capper team. We have daily projections for all active major sports. And of course, we have our Lock City cheat sheets that we're running daily for a ton of different sports and prop markets. You can get better results by only paying 16 cents a day or $5 a month at whop.com/LockCity. So quick review of yesterday's slate here before we hop into today. We saw the Cincinnati Reds on the road take down the Chicago Cubs by a score of 6-2 in the early game at Wrigley Field. The Baltimore Orioles took down the White Sox at home there at Camden Yards by a score of 2-1. Eflin picked up the win. The Brewers beat the Phillies on the road by a score of 6-2 at Citizens Bank Park. Quinn Priester picked up the win in that one. The Blue Jays at home, this was part of our JuiceBox Lock play there, obviously with Bassitt on the strikeouts. Blue Jays got the win 11-7 at home at Rogers Center over the A's. The LA Angels at Progressive Field there against the Guardians won by a score of 4-1. They've continued to look pretty good over the last little while, and I'm happy they're beating up on Cleveland. That's a division rival of my Tigers. The Mets at home, we had this as part of a money line, run line parlay in my channel that ended up missing because of St. Louis, which we'll get to in a second. But the Mets covered the run line. They won 4-2. The San Francisco Giants on the road took down the Marlins, score of 2-0 at Lone Depot. The Boston Red Sox won by a score of 5-1 at Truist Park in Atlanta against the Braves. The Texas Rangers blew up my MLB parlay. They beat the Cardinals by a score of 11-1. It was not even close at any point in this game. That was just a bad call, I guess. I really thought St. Louis was going to win there, but the Texas Bats just decided to wake up, and 11-1 was an embarrassing result, though, is what it is. The Tigers won by a score of 7-5 at Kansas City. The Astros won by a score of 2-1 at home against the Rays. The Padres at home took down the Padres by a score of 3-2. The Nationals were on the road in Arizona at Chase Field. They beat the Diamondbacks by a score of 9-7. Minnesota Twins, final in 10 innings. I love when this happens. This went into extras, and then the Twins won 12-6. So they won by 6 runs in extra innings. That's always fun. And the Dodgers beat the Yankees at home by a score of 8-4. We saw a Judge first inning homer and an Ohtani first inning homer in that game. And Dodgers ended up taking that by a score of 8-5. So looking forward to today's slate. The games actually start a little bit later today. They start at 2:20 as well, which is kind of nice for Saturday, to be honest with you. First game of the day is going to be same as yesterday. Our Cincinnati Reds, well, not our Cincinnati Reds, but the Cincinnati Reds at the Chicago Cubs. The Reds have Nick Lodolo on the mound, left-handed pitcher. Cubs have Drew Pomeranz, nice, also lefty. I want to lean the Cubs here, but I do like Lodolo. I like what he's been able to do. The Reds won yesterday, though, 6-2. Cubs don't often lose back-to-back at home sometimes, but I think the Cubs will probably pick up the win here. I do think the pitching advantage definitely leans toward the Reds, but if we're given leans, I don't love this game, but I'm going to lean Cubs minus 162. I don't love the line either. Next game up is going to be the Athletics at the Blue Jays still. Rogers Center, 3:07 p.m. Eastern Time. The Athletics have Gunnar Hoglund on the mound, right-handed pitcher, and the Jays have Braden Fisher, also a righty, going to the mound. There is zero matchup history for both of these pitchers against the opposing lineups, so that's kind of fun. I want to lean the Blue Jays here just because the Athletics have looked pretty abysmal over the last little while. They did put up a good amount of runs yesterday, and I do like their lineup. I mean, there's always damage to be had there, but I want to lean Blue Jays here. Again, not a game I love, but Blue Jays minus 162, and again, not a line I love. We'll move on. Actually, you know what? I kind of like the over 9 in that, now that I look at it a little bit more. We're going to go with that. ERAs aren't that great on either side. I know neither of them have seen either of the lineups, which obviously is a little bit of an advantage toward the pitchers there, but I do kind of want to lean the over 9 here as well. I like that as a secondary lean. Now we'll move on. St. Louis Cardinals, Texas Rangers, 4:05 Globe Life Field down in Arlington, Texas. The Rangers have Pat Corbin on the mound, and the Cardinals have Sonny Gray. I would be astonished if the Cardinals don't come back and win this one. Held to 1 run yesterday. A lot of guys projected in the red, but that is the case on both sides of these lineups. I don't trust the Texas bats to stay hot. I think St. Louis takes this minus 148 on the money line. Next up, the White Sox and the Orioles, 4:05 at Camden Yards. Orioles have Dean Kremer going to the mound, righty, and the White Sox have Davis Martin, also a righty. Dean Kremer in his last outing actually looked pretty decent. In this battle of not great pitching, I do want to give the edge to the Orioles to take another one here. I think they're going to end up, the money line's almost minus 200. I don't love that. I think they win the game, but I don't love that line at all. That's definitely skippable. Next one's going to be the Brewers and the Phillies. Brewers have Chad Patrick, our boy, the man with 2 first names, on the mound against Jesus Luzardo, lefty for the Phillies. Phillies win this. This is just too much of a pitching difference here. Phillies win this, minus 192 on the money line. San Francisco Giants and the Miami Marlins. San Fran's got Robbie Ray, good old Robbie Ray, going to the mound, lefty, in his, I was going to say prime. Like, he's not in his prime. He's in his golden years. He's like 42, 43. But he's pitching well. He's looking good out there. And Edward Cabrera going out for the Marlins, righty. A lot of these Giants bats, minimal plate appearances, but a lot of them hit pretty well off of Cabrera. Jung-Hoo Lee bats 500, Wilmer Flores 333. So a lot of damage to be had here. A lot of guys in the green on both sides here on daily sheets are our tool for projecting a lot of these games here that we use as a basis for a lot of our measurements here. I want to lean San Francisco, obviously. Again, I don't love the minus 175. Not a lot of runs happened here yesterday, but I do think they get the job done. I'm going to go San Francisco on the money line. My Tigers at the Royals. Tigers have Skubal on the mound. Tigers are winning this game against Waka. Waka's a good pitcher, but it's just Skubal looked dominant. His last outing, complete game shutout, obviously. First of his career. He's 13 Ks, tied his career high. He's looked incredible. There's my dog in the background. He's looked incredible. I got to go Tigers here. Minus 185 on the money line, as it should be. Detroit wins this game. Next up is going to be the Rockies and the Mets. I got to go with obviously the Mets, but this is just atrocious. Minus 425 on the money line. The minus 1.5 run line is minus 175. They got Kodai Senga going up against Antonio Senzatella. So, I mean, they win this game. They probably cover the run line, but the odds are just horrible. I'm not going to bet that. The Angels and the Guardians at Progressive Field, in Cleveland. We have Slade Ciccone on the mound for the Guards and Kyle Hendricks out there for the Angels. I want to give the edge here to the Guardians. I think the Guardians win this game. Minus 185 on the money line isn't great, but I think they come back and they probably get a win here. Red Sox and the Braves down at Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia. Braves are starting Spencer Schwellenbach, righty. Red Sox have Walker Buehler, also righty. I got to give this edge to Atlanta here, man. I'm going to go Braves on the money line, minus 170. Not a lot here in terms of batting history, but like Eddie Rosario's 4 for 70, bats 571 off Walker Buehler. Austin Riley's 6 for 15, bats 400 off Walker Buehler. Ozzie Albies 7 for 23, bats 304. So not a lot of home runs against Buehler here, but they are doing a lot of damage off of him. The other guys haven't really seen him a lot. Marcelo Zuna gets absolutely crushed, though. He's 0 for 14 against Buehler, but everybody else in this lineup kind of holds their own, and we don't really see the same on the other side. I got to lean Atlanta here, minus 170 on the money line. Next up, Tampa Bay and Houston Astros, 4:10 p.m. Minute Maid Park. The Astros are starting Colton Gordon, lefty. The Rays have Zach Littell there, right-handed pitcher. A lot of these Astros, like Altuve, bats 600 off Littell, but Pena bats 333 off Littell. I still have to go with, I'm going to be going with the Rays on the money line for this one. Plus 100, I'm going to go Tampa Bay here. Next one up is going to be the Minnesota Twins and the Seattle Mariners. At T-Mobile Park, 7:15 p.m. Bryce Miller is starting for the Mariners. I really like the Mariners in this spot. Bailey Ober, righty, also a righty, is starting for the Twins here. I got to give the edge to the Mariners. The Twins have looked good, but I think the Mariners are going to win here with Bryce Miller on the mound. Sorry, if we're looking at matchup history, there's not a lot to go off of on either side, unfortunately. But I am going to be leaning Mariners here. I wouldn't be surprised if the Twins won. This would be a close game. I'm going to lean Mariners, though, minus 112 on the money line. I like that. I feel pretty good about that. Next up, Yanks and the Dodgers. This is 7:15, Dodgers Stadium. Continuing this World Series rematch. We have Landon Knack going out there for the Dodgers, a righty, and Will Warren for the Yankees, also a righty. Just looking at those two guys, I love the over 9.5 here. I think both of them are going to get bombed, probably. Two of the most dangerous probably the most two dangerous lineups in baseball, going up against one another with two pretty subpar pitchers. So I'm going to go over 9.5 in this one, minus 115. I really like that. I think both sides of these lineups, this would be a great game for like a hits plus runs plus RBIs parlay, or a hits parlay, or anything you want to do parlay. I think there's going to be a lot of runs in this one. Pittsburgh Pirates and the San Diego Padres, 9:40 p.m. at Petco Park in San Diego. We got Dylan Cease out there for the Padres and Bailey Falter hitting the mound for the Pirates. Falter's a lefty, Cease is a righty. In terms of matchup history, actually a lot of damage on either side. This might be another one to target the over, and I kind of like that over 7.5. Cease has pitched better at home, obviously, than he does on the road. But he still is likely to get bombed here. Pittsburgh doesn't put up a ton of runs. I think this is a spot where they might. If we're looking at Falter's matchup history, a lot of these guys bat really well off of him, but significantly the two that don't are Bogarts and Tatis. So that's kind of interesting. On the other side of things, a lot of these guys hit pretty well off of Dylan Cease also. I'm leaning over 7.5 in this one at minus 110. Last game of the night is going to be the Nationals and the Diamondbacks. So in this one here, I've gone back and forth on this one a little bit. The Nationals have Soroka on the mound. He's a right. They're both righties, Soroka and Fat. Soroka, I don't trust him at all. I trust Brandon Fat a hell of a lot more, but I don't like the money line here. I think Washington's super sneaky. Sorry, I don't like the money line odds here. I think Washington's super sneaky. I don't like it at minus 198 for Arizona, but I also don't like the run line at all at plus 105. I think they're going to squeak out a win here. So nothing I really love on this game. I would like to lean Arizona on the money line, maybe like an Arizona first 5 if it's not completely bombed. But I don't love the odds on this one. Alrighty. That's going to take us back to our JuiceBox Lock of the day. We're just going to slide up 2 games here. The one that I talked about a couple moments ago. Surprisingly, we're not going to be going with the Tigers here. We're going to be going with the Yanks and the Dodgers, over 9.5 total runs. Like we said, we got Will Warren against Landon Knack. 2 guys with the potential to get absolutely bombed. Will Warren's got an ERA of 4.09. Landon Knack's got an ERA above 5, 5.22. If we're looking at their recent game logs here, Will Warren, his last time out, only gave up 2 earned runs, but it was against Colorado. When he plays, he hasn't seen a lineup like the Dodgers yet this season, but when he sees lineups that are a little bit more potent, like a Baltimore, he gave up 4 runs. Tampa Bay, he gave up 3 runs. Even Pittsburgh, he gave up 4 runs. So I don't trust Will Warren here whatsoever. Obviously, on the other side, when we're looking at Landon Knack, with his recent game log here against Arizona, he gave up 4 earned runs. Against the Athletics, he gave up 5 earned runs. Against Washington, he gave up 5. So I think this is going to soar over. The first 5 over might even be something good to target as a side piece, but for the JuiceBox Lock here, we're definitely going with the over 9.5 runs in this game, minus 115. I think it's going to soar over. We'll probably see like 13, 14 total runs in this one. So I really like it. Might even ladder it. But for the JuiceBox Lock, over 9.5 runs, Yankees at Dodgers, minus 115, pretty much everywhere. All right, y'all. That's it for today's MLB. We will see you a little bit later today for a CS2 pod. We have the Blast Austin Major starting on Monday, Tuesday of this upcoming week. Stretches for 3 weeks. So for those of you that are in tune with our CS2 or esports side of things, definitely recommend checking that one out. There's going to be a ton of bangers off the hop there, a ton of great early game matchups, ton of potential profit to be made. And of course, for those of you that are not yet in our premium tier, wap.com/LockCity, only 16 cents a day or $5 a month. If you're not following along with us on, I don't know where you're listening to this, it could be YouTube, Spotify, or Twitter. But depending on the platform, make sure to check us out on those other platforms. On Twitter, we have 2 Twitters going on. Our main Lock City Twitter is @_LockCity, and our Juicebox Twitter @LCJuiceboxPod. We got 2 going on, running constant content out there. We got our cheat sheets going off on the Lock City one every single day. Of course, we're doing Free Sheet Friday, where we drop everything that you would regularly get in our premium tier onto Twitter. That went on yesterday there. We got UFC going on tonight. That'll be exciting. So if you're not tapped in there, make sure to check out our UFC podcast. Our UFC Call the Card cheat sheet is posted on our Lock City Twitter. Tons of free content going on. If you're not subscribed to us yet on YouTube, make sure to do so. If you're listening to this on YouTube, make sure to give us a like, potentially a comment if you're digging the content that you're hearing, and subscribe if you like the episodes that you've been hearing from us. We'll be introducing video here in the short term, definitely for UFC, hopefully for MLB as well. And we hope to see y'all around. So thank y'all. Have a great Saturday. Thanks for listening. Take care.